A first responder can be there on the worst or best days of a person's life. They can help usher in a new life or arrive on the scene to a fatal crash. And the tasks of a first responder takes a physical and mental toll on a person. How could it not? For one Idaho firefighter, it's brought on a post-traumatic stress disorder, and a unique approach to treating his trauma is now being told on the big screen. Here's our Aspen Shumpert.
The job that sees disaster, grief, and heartache on a daily basis.
You might experience 7 to 10 traumatic events in your life. First responders, it's like 1,000 in my career.
For second-generation firefighter Rob Christensen, coping with that came in various forms.
I started getting counseling, 5 years into it, maybe 3 years into the job. My first counseling appointment, like I said, I was ashamed that I had to go there, that I was weaker than everybody. But what I soon learned was that the clinician I chose saw other first responders. And she's like, "You're not alone." I'm like, "Really?" She's like, "Oh yeah, you're not alone at all."
He also participates in regular meditation, but a new type of therapy caught his attention a few years ago.
That there was history of, oh, it's a drug and you take it and you go party.
He's talking about ketamine, a controlled substance that is legal to use only in a medical setting. After discussions with his doctors and family, he thought it was the right time for him to add ketamine therapy into his toolbox to help with PTSD and PTSI.
I was scared. What was I going to be when I came out, right? Was I still going to be me?
For 6 weeks in 2022, Rob underwent assisted ketamine therapy in a Boise ketamine clinic. A combination of preparatory psychotherapy sessions, a number of intramuscular and intravenous injections, and solo psychotherapy to end it. He explained his experience like emptying a backpack.
We just keep throwing rocks in there, and pretty soon we can't carry it anymore. And it's going to break us down to where we can't think straight, we can't sleep, we are looking for self-medication.
And a Wyoming filmmaker and photographer wanted to catch it all on camera.
I'm a suicide loss survivor, so I lost my dad, Stephen, to suicide when I was 12 years old, and that kind of put me on a path where I am just very passionate about mental health topics.
The source and their home was a specific choice for Brandon.
I came to learn that the American West has the nation's highest rates of suicide. The Bay Area don't need more convincing about psychedelics. There's already huge adoption there, whereas a place like Idaho, there might not be as much common sort of acceptance and understanding around these compounds.
Before Rob started ketamine therapy, he wasn't sure what he'd get out of it.
To be honest, I felt like I had worked through all of what I was carrying. I thought my backpack was pretty empty, but I found that the bottom of that thing was some hard cement that just wasn't out yet. And
Rob says after sessions, he'd be exhausted, but also felt lighter.
Oh, wow, things are a little bit brighter. Music's a little bit better, right? Food's a little bit better. And just my gratitude and just the love I had in my heart was even more than prior to.
The footage was turned into a short film published by the New York Times this March.
There were certainly moments watching him go through the therapy where I felt like I was able to relate through moments of my own experience, with my own trauma or whatever. It actually opened me to the possibility of doing my own course of ketamine therapy to treat my own PTSD. So
for Rob, he wanted others to know support is out there for everyone.
And I had a dear friend call me, and he said, "You saved my life." I'm like, "What?" And he said, "I watched the documentary twice." And he just couldn't control his emotions, was crying. His wife came home, and finally it was out on the table, and he had to say how he felt, that he was considering suicide. To play a small role into where he's at now, and he's gotten help, and he is back at work, it's just, I'm grateful for that.
And tonight, the film will have its first in-person showing here in Boise at the Idaho Film Society downtown. The first show is at 7 p.m. and it sold out, but they added a second showing for 8:30 p.m. tonight that you can still get tickets to. In between the two shows will be a question and answers portion where everyone can ask Rob, Brandon, the director, and the doctor involved in this process questions. Joe.
It's a fascinating look at, I guess, the evolution of medicine. I would imagine, 15, 20 years ago, this would not even be on the table.
Yeah.
So very fascinating work. And if you want to read more about it, you can check out ktvb.com. Aspen will have that up for you in a little bit.
That's right.
We'll be right back.